to talk with you.
Definitely. What we can do is we will have the session and then we will have the question answer session. Okay, Fatima. We will have the session. So before starting the session, I would request our director, Mr. Dipankar Shrigyan, to kindly bless the students from Herat province of Afghanistan. Sir, for a few, please give your blessings so that we can start. Also, I believe it is very cold there in Herat, and off and on, I request all the participants to be with us because off and on there is a problem of connectivity there in Herat. So we will just start quickly. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Dr. Kundu, Gulshan, and Miss Fatima.
Yeah.
All the
They are all saying good morning.
all the important guests assembled here for this seminar. I'm aware that it is really a tough time of organizing all these programs, but technology has made it very easy. And during the COVID period, Gandhi Smriti Darshan Samiti is fortunate enough to organize such programs throughout the world.
Okay.
Herat is really a toughest zone in the world and perhaps the most conflict zone at present time.
Yes, sir.
So I am sure that the non-violence can easily be understood by the people of Herat and our students at Herat. Because when you see the life of Mahatma, you find that his life is between First World War to Second World War. When all the countries in these two world wars were at the fighting mode, Mahatma was preaching non-violence. And finally, he succeeded. The two world war failed as it did not result the desired thing for the countries who were fighting for their might. Meaning thereby, the non-violence is the only answer to world for establishment of peace and tranquility. Peace is just not a demand of humanity, but peace is the basic requirement of humanity. Humanity always survives in the peaceful environment, and human beings are by birth peace-loving. Nobody wants any violence in his life or in others' life. But sometimes when the brain starts behaving differently to the heart, the tranquility is disturbed, the violence generates, and finally the peace lovers start searching for a way out for peace. I'm sure that Mahatma is still alive in thousands and millions of hearts throughout the world, as we all are peace-loving creatures. All we believe in peace. We are basically peace believer people throughout the world. And only a few handful people try to disturb this peace. So, conflict is always prejudicial and always a harmful aspect for the society. Now, we have to establish the peace and how it will be established, particularly in the conflict zone of the world, where we are fighting for some of the prejudged decisions. How this peace is established. The basic requirement for peace is that I understand you and you understand me. That's called empathy. Unless until we understand each of us, we can't have a dialogue, we can't have a communication, and we can't have a understanding. So just to understand each other, we need to understand the points of each other. The patient hearing is the prerequisite of dialogue. Most of the time, you will find even in your homes that with the prejudiced mind or with the predetermined mind, when we sit together, even on a small argument, we don't want to listen to other. And we always start placing our points over others. And finally, what happens then when the dialogue is not established, we become little bit violent, even verbal. And sometime in the public life, it becomes inverbal. The people in Herat, particularly the young students who are seen here with Fatima, you all are real blessing of the God. A beautiful estate, a very, very rich civilization value, and a very known place throughout the world. So I am sure that peace will emerge from you. Peace, you are the preacher of peace. Even Lord Buddha has so many influence in Afghanistan. And he was one of the greatest preacher of ahimsa and peace. Conflict always, or the war always gives you a chance to prove that, yes, we are human being, we are a strong believer of peace, we are a strong believer in the non-violence, and we have no place for violence in our life, and that has to be proved. We're going through some turmoil times, and it happens every time throughout the world. At any moment of time, a country or a zone or a society passes through that tranquility. And during that, it is the real beauty of life that finally the peace emerges and finally the society establishes in a very peaceful manner. So what I jokingly said to my officers, where there is disturbance, the peace is just following. That simply means that peace is about to come. And peace is really about to come, and it will come. I think Dr. Kundu will be able to make you understand how this non-violent and conflict resolutions are achieved through non-violent means, how non-violence is important and how it can be practiced. And I am sure anybody practicing non-violence is the most noble soul in this world. And you all are the budding noble soul in the world. So this lecture will enrich you, enhance you, and enlighten you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for your blessings for all our friends from Herat. What now we are going to do is, as Director Sir had rightly pointed out, that each of one of you back in Herat, you are enthusiastic lot, you are enthusiastic people, and you should be the torch bearers of the peace building process. You are all peacemakers and you are all peace builders, and each one of you have in you, you are motivated lot, you have in you to really work I've been really, following what Mallika has been doing, also what Fatima has been doing, and I'm really impressed by their ingenuity, by their dedication to the cause of promotion of a culture of peace and non-violence. Also, may I request Mallika and her team members, as like Mallika has done that course on nonviolent communication, all the friends who have now assembled for this program back in Herat, may I request Mallika to kindly coordinate with them, and they should also do this free online course on nonviolent communication, and each one of you will get the certificates. Here in this, as we start this session on non-violent communication, each one of you, as you have now a series of training program that you have been taking part in, before I start formally, may I request Fatima to tell us whether they are able to hear, Fatima and Mallika? Hello? Can you hear us? Mallika? Fatima, I hope we have not broken contact with Herat once again. Mallika, can you hear us? Hello? Oh, I think there is a disconnect. We have a problem in... I think there is a problem over there. We'll just wait before they rejoin, because this program has been essentially designed for our friends from Herat. We'll just wait for a few minutes. Try to... Friends, many of us have lost the, power, lost the art of listening to others. When we listen to others deeply, when we listen to the other person, that means we are communicating, we are connecting. Because if many times what happens is that, I'm not listening to you. And if I'm not listening to you, I'm not able to connect with you. I'm not able to understand critically what you want, what are your concerns, what are the issues you are talking about. So deep listening skills have to be developed if you want to become an effective peace builder. Peace building entails, because if you're going to a conflict community, if you're trying to talk to people who are in conflict, you need to listen to the other person. Very, very important. Another important aspect of non-violent communication is avoidance of moralistic judgments. How we... You see, many of the times that has happens is that we are involving in judgmental communication. We are judgmental. Okay, that person has not done this thing properly, so that person must be very bad. Person must be very... Those kind of judgmental communication we use, I'm sure, even in classrooms, you are all students. So you will remember possibly sometimes that your teacher, probably if you have not done well in the class, so then your teacher might be telling that, hey, you are totally useless student. So that is judgmental. She is judgmental about everything. So if we want to develop a connection with the other person, we have to see how we can get away from promoting moralistic judgments. Very similar to what we are talking of judgmental communication is avoidance of negative evaluative language. How? You see, again, evaluation, again the same thing. Like say you are in the home and you are trying to wash your home and your brother or sister is not doing. So you will say that, hey, you are a lazy person, you are a lazy bum, so on and so forth. So without understanding, we get into this negative evaluative language, which is again a problem in our communication process. And if we have to be a genuine peace builder, we have to avoid all these things. So these are these 12 important elements of nonviolent communication. And here now we need to look at in the last segment how we can use it in our daily lives, because I really want each one of you to go back and promote this idea of non-violent communication in your families and also in your institutions, and that will be the real challenge. How we can promote positivity in our lives. You see, when we are talking of disputes and differences, as I had mentioned to you, those 5 pillars of nonviolence, so important. If we are able to follow these 5 pillars of nonviolence in our daily life, ingrain it, make it a part of our habit, you will see you will be able to avoid many different disputes and differences that may crop up in your lives. I'm not talking of a big thing where you're going and trying to solve the problem. I'm talking of even individual differences or differences in your families, with your friends, in your institutions. So that is something very, very important. So we need to avoid disputes and differences that may crop up in our lives. Hello, am I audible? Gulshan, am I audible?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Also, another very, very important aspect we need to keep in mind is that how negative thoughts and our negative emotions, drains our energy. I'm sure you will realize that. There are many instances when you have so much of negativity that are there with you, and because of which you probably have not done well your examination, or there is disruption in the work that you want to do. So how you manage negative communication in your life, because when we use non-violent communication, we will be able to manage this negative communication. Anger management. Each one of us are very angry. No, we need to manage our anger. You see, as human beings, it is simply impossible that we will never get angry. But how we channelize our anger is something very important. So when we are talking, we are using non-violent communication. So non-violence in our speech and action, when we are compassionate, when we have got into the habit of expressing gratitude, when we are in the habit of being empathetic to the others, we are able to develop empathetic connections. You will realize how we will be able to manage our anger. I remember doing this study with a group of students here in India, and we told them right at the beginning of the session on why they got angry and how they got angry and the level of their anger. And then we introduced to them to this idea of non-violent communication and asked them to maintain an anger journal. Like at the course of the day, while they are retiring to bed, they're going to sleep, they will keep a journal, and in that they will write during the day what were those occasions because of which they got angry, why they got angry with that particular person, what made them angry, so on and so forth. Purely personal reflective exercise. And believe me, after a month when I went back to those students, they said that they were able to manage their anger in a much better way than before. So I would request all of you to try and see if you can maintain an anger journal. In fact, similarly, I will request you to keep a notebook where you will keep why you got angry, what made you angry, the reasons. Probably you could have behaved in a different way had you handled the situation in a better way. On one side, it will be an anger management journal. On the other side, keep a gratitude journal. And gratitude journal means during the course of the day, the people because of whom you might have benefited in some way or the other, who might have helped you in some way or the other. Because the more you, as I told you, the more you express gratitude, the less you will be stressful. So let us try and keep both an anger journal and a gratitude journal so that we are able to manage many of these negative issues in a much better way. In fact, friends, as you all want to become conflict resolution, people develop skills in conflict resolution. One of the most important principle of conflict resolution is that when, say, two parties are in a dispute, so they come to the table with negativities. There is some negative perception. They come to the table with negative perception. So the challenge here is that how we can ensure that from a negative approach, from a negative perception, we change the conflict to a positive perception, and how we are able to expand our levels of empathy and ability to resolve the conflicts. So when we are using nonviolent communication, believe me, you will be able to resolve conflicts in a much, much better way, because you will be able to see things in a much positive manner. There will be a lot of positive energies, and you will be able to expand your levels of empathy and compassion, and that will help you to resolve these conflicts. Also, friends, when we are looking at nonviolent communication, it helps in developing connections. You are able to engage with the other people. You are able to reach out to communities. For instance, Mallika and Fatima, when your team goes to the community and start having a dialogue with the community, when you are using the strategies of nonviolent communication, that means you are listening to the people in the community deeply. You are compassionate to them. You try to develop an empathetic connection. So it will be much easier for you to communicate with the people in the community. And I believe me, there are so many people, participants who are part of this course. They reach out to the community using these strategies, and they've succeeded. Also, you will be promoting volunteerism and acts of giving in the community, because it promotes pro-social behavior. Of course, as I mentioned, when we are using this healthy form of communication, that is non-violent communication, it is a stress buster for us. And directly related to the importance of connections, here is the importance of how we can engage our communities in dialogues. Because the more we engage in dialogues with people around us, we will be able to contribute to a cohesive society and harmonious coexistence. So dialogues are extremely important, especially in conflict situations. We must keep on engaging with people who are, having opposite views in dialogues and discussions. Extremely important. We need to learn the art and science of engaging in dialogue, and non-violent communication, use of it actually help us to do that. And friends, as you are all trying to become part of a team and try to bring together friends who want to contribute to the peace process, use of non-violent communication actually enhances the trust amongst the team members. It promotes a spirit of solidarity and development of empathetic relationships, and hence it will promote team building. That's an extremely important aspect of nonviolent communication. In fact, as this beautiful quote of Dr. Martin Luther King, who says that we must learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools. So we need to be connected. We need to work as a cohesive society, and use of nonviolent communication actually help us to come together and live together. Again, an extremely important aspect of nonviolent communication is the importance of forgiveness. Forgiveness and reconciliation. Friends, as you are all coming from a place where there are a lot of conflicts going on, we must learn how to be forgiving in nature and promotion of reconciliation. You see, Nelson Mandela, he was there 27 years in prison. And as he walked out of the prison, this is something which really, I'm always inspired with. As I walked out of the door towards the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I will still be in prison. So the challenge for all of us is that we may have differences, we may have situations where we might have opposing viewpoints with the others, but how we leave this bitterness and hatred behind, challenge for all of us. And I think Nelson Mandela gives such a beautiful direction, a guiding post to all of us on how we can leave bitterness and hatred behind. Remember, he was there for 27 years in prison. And for someone who was there in 27 years in prison, that person might be very angry. He must be having extreme hatred for the people with who had put him in prison. Yet, he says that if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I will still be in prison. So, This is our website, and Mallika has already done this course on nonviolent communication, and she has already got the certificate. Also, I request each and every member of Mallika and Fatima's team to kindly do this course and learn and understand more about nonviolent communication. Also, I would request Mallika and Fatima to promote this course in your area in Herat and in your school, so that more and more students from Herat do this course and try to understand on the importance of nonviolent communication. So thank you very much. We have come to the end of this session and on this. So now we should have some question and answer, so that each one of us actually benefit from it. Thank you. Please.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Dear our students, that they have also questions if you have the time. So we will ask them to ask their questions.
Yes.
Imagine if you have.
Please start.
Okay, so. Okay, guys. So anyone who has questions, just raise your hand. Yeah. Okay. You can come. You can come here. Yes. Okay, so now she's just having her question.
Yes, please.
First of all, hello.
Hello.
I'm glad to see you. Okay. And I have a question. What is our job against bad behavior?
Sorry.
Yes, again?
Yeah.
Okay, what is our job against bad behavior?
What is our job against bad behavior? Okay, so here as we all talked about the importance, say for instance someone is not behaving very properly with you. First foremost, let us try to understand what was that need of that particular person because of which she or he is behaving in such a way. The second is how we can be effectively reaching out to that person and try to explain to that person that the way he or she is behaving is not according to the ethical norms. We must reason out, we must use logic, because if we are aggressive with that person again will be aggressive, and then there is no solution and no end to conflict. So when we are because non-violent communication helps us to develop the patience, helps us to develop the strategies on how we use different tools and language of reaching out even in situation when that person is not behaving properly with us. Next question. Was it fine or more explanation to that, Mallika?
Yeah, she did understand. Yeah, you can have your question now.
Okay, there is another one.
Just the last one, yes.
Okay, sir. At first, I have a hello warm to you, and we are so glad and happy that we can talk with you. Okay, sir. Sometimes someone behave violently with himself or herself because she or he has inner violent nature. So how can we decrease or reduce it? Did you understand?
Yes, please. In fact, that is what I was telling you all about, the importance of inner peace, as you said, inner violence. Because when we have inner peace, when we can promote the idea of inner peace in our community, because if we are not peaceful within ourselves, we will be violent with outside people. So if, say, someone is acting violently against us, there is a problem. Probably he or she might be having some situation of turmoil. He or she might be facing some difficulties because of which he or she is behaving, acting violently with us. So if we are peaceful, we will be able to handle that person in a more matured way. We are non-violent because when we are able to guide them through a peaceful process, even if they are not acting non-violently with us, at some stage that person will also try to understand what wrong they were doing, or they will be able to connect to their own needs because of which they were forced to act in that particular way. So, of course, these are all challenging things. You can't, as I let me mention, that there cannot be any set formula of being a non-violent communicator, but we have to practice, we have to be committed. It has to come from the heart to be a non-violent communicator so that we can handle such kind of people or such kind of situation in a more matured way, in a more constructive way. Yes, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. There are two more students. They have
Yes.
question. Do you have time?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, Fatima.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, for the nice training.
Hello.
Hello.
It is such an honor that today I'm with you, and thank you for your nice informations and words that you gave us. And I have a question.
Yes, please.
I have most of these talents that you said, but can you tell me how can I avoid my bad moralistic judgments that I have, and I don't know how can I avoid this?
Okay. When I was telling to you about the importance of avoiding moralistic judgment, because as I mentioned to you, when we are judgmental, we are actually being promoting a bottleneck in our communication. Like if I'm judgmental about you, you are such and such person, you are like that, you are like this, so then I can't communicate with you openly. So it is a matter of practice that we should see how we can over a course of time. It can't come in one day that I will stop being judgmental. It has to come through a series of practice, series of way in which we can avoid moralistic judgment. Because if I'm judgmental, then I can't communicate with you openly. If I'm judgmental, say a person who is a homeless will always be a person who will be pickpocketing, then how will I understand the concerns of that homeless person? How will I go and help that homeless person? So let us try to see. It is a matter of practice. As I said, there is no magical formula that I am saying this and you will start from tomorrow being non-judgmental. You will have to come. It has to be a commitment to yourself that, okay, I will not be judgmental, and let us try to understand, see things from a wider perspective. The key is seeing things from a wider perspective. That is the important thing. We should not see things from a very narrow prism. We should try to see elaborately. And for that, we must try to learn to be thankful. We must learn to be compassionate. We must learn to be empathetic so that we avoid these kind of problems.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, there's one more, sir.
Perfect. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Fine. I'm fine.
I am Fatima from Herat.
That's right.
Okay, I have a question from you. In abroad countries are a lot of facilities that they train the children, yes?
Okay.
But here, not the facilities to train the children to bring the peace and be the best one. So what should we do that we can have the facilities for children to do to have be the best?
Okay, so thank you so
To
much.
bring the peace in Afghanistan.
Okay, so it is not very related to our today's session. So
No, we can say that possibly, Malika, we can say that, we can actually try to have these kind of sessions more often so that we can continue to train our children in Herat so that they can be more effective peace builders. I think that is the key here. I think we should create more opportunities for more such sessions so that we can continue the process of training. Okay.
yeah, thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
So what I feel is that if we wish to develop children to a good person, they can be polite and respectful of others. And thanks that you had a responsible to see us, and thanks.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Fatima. Sir, there is another student. She has a question. Yes, Fatima, come on.
Yes, please. No problem.
Sarah. Yes. Come on, Fatima. Sarah. Okay. Yeah, Zahra. Hi, teacher. How are you?
Hello, fine, I'm fine.
Teacher, thank you for your nice sharing about nonviolent. We really try our best to put them in our daily activities and life. And also, especially thanks for your sharing 5 pillars of Gandhi value, respect, understanding, acceptance, appreciation, and compassion. And also, I have a question. Can you share your slide with us?
Can I share?
Your slides, slide that you shared with the students. They're interested to have the slides with them.
I will mail Mallika my slide so that it can be used by all of you and you can share it with others. No problem. I will mail it to Mallika. Yes, no problem.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay, so you can have a seat. Okay, sir, now we go to your questions. And now it is your turn. You can ask your questions from the participants.
First, I would like to ask how did they like the session, whether they thought it was meaningful or not. Anyone can respond how they felt the session was. And how they, also my question would be how they think they could use it in their lives, like how they will be able to use it in their families, in their own lives. That is my question for them. Anyone can answer.
There is one student, she wants to answer.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I should say for you that it was great, and it was the first time that we were online and we were speaking with foreign person, and it was very great, and we know about the communication between the people, how we should communication with the other people, what should we have, what talents, and what should we do. And I think it is very useful in our life, and we can connect correctly and very great with other people, because before that we didn't know how to connect with other people because we had stress on something else, and now when you told us something about this communication, I think we can have the best communication in the future and after that.
Perfect. So,
Doctor? Thank you, doctor. I thought you were a teacher because of that.
Fine. So, Mallika, I would request you to motivate all our friends to do that course on that you have already done.
Yeah.
So that they all benefit from it. That will be so useful. You please share with them the course material. Yes,
Okay, thank you so much. So, yeah, there's no any other questions, so you can
No,
You can have your questions.
Now the floor is open to you. You must speak because you are someone who has taken the leadership of doing this program, and also you were one of our first students who did our course. So now the floor is open to you, and we will listen to you on your idea of non-violent communication and how we need to reach out. Because after this, I will not be coming for a session with your friends in Herat. It will be Mallika and her team who will be reaching out to other students in Herat to train them on non-violent communication.
Okay, sir. So I already have shared all my videos with the students, and before we had started the class and the training, I had shared my video with them, and they had listened. And I already did the class, the program with them before also. So now, if you have the question from the participants, they are eagerly waiting for your questions, and
So my question would be say for instance, I have talked to you at length on the different ideas of nonviolent communication and its importance and its element. Can one student can come and explain to us, like as if she was a teacher herself, on what exactly is nonviolent communication?
Sir, can I share a memory about nonviolent communication?
Yes, please.
Fatima.
Please.
Sir, it was the first year of my university. One day in our class, in our class we have different races, students from different races. Then one day our teacher was teaching us, but students were shouting too much, and I couldn't understood whatever my teacher was teaching us. So it was so annoying for me. I stood up and told the students, please be quiet. I cannot hear whatever our teacher is teaching us, and I cannot understand. We are students, so we have to be quiet. Then somehow one of the students from another race, he stood up and told me, shut up, you are not a teacher to tell us to be quiet. And he just used a violent communication with me. Then another boy from our race, he stood up and just wanted to hit that boy that you are just insulting our race. So there was a kind of violent communication between them. Then, although it was not my fault, and I was not guilty for that communication, I just stood up and I excused and told the boy from another race to just please excuse me, and I'm so sorry for whatever I'm telling. Actually, I was not guilty, but to just avoid that violent communication, I just I was sorry and I excused him, and so the conflict was solved there. Because excusing and being sorry is cheap, but maybe when communication just hurts many people. Even it can, if just I didn't excuse him, they might kill each other. So that was a nice memory for me. Although I was not guilty, but I excused.
In fact, that is a very, very powerful and apt example of how you diffuse a situation of possible conflict, what Fatima has explained, and each one of us can actually learn from such kind of experiences. So that is something very, very stimulating. So also, as I mentioned, if any one of the other student can come and explain what exactly is nonviolent communication. Anyone before we end the session today? Anyone?
Yes, of course.
Your understanding, your perception? Anyone? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, there is one. Coming. No, there is no problem. We all have biological status. Come. Yeah, there is one another. She has also a memory, and then she will share now.
Okay, sure.
So hello once again.
Hello.
And I should tell about my memory that one day we were sitting in the house with my mom, with my brother's wife, and my brother. And I should tell about this non-violent communication that between my mother and my brother's wife, that it is normal in Afghanistan between the families, that they had non-violent communication between themselves, and one was saying that you're like this, and another one was saying you're like this. And I think it was a violent communication that caused they will be far from each other, and they couldn't have a good communication between themselves. They are upset of themselves and they are angry now, and they don't have a good relation and good connection between each other. And I should say that the result of these violent communications are not so good in every place. It's not different that it is in home, it is in school, it is university or some other places. I think the violent communication is so bad for all the people. And I hope that we don't continue this communication.
Perfect. Wonderful. Really, a clap to all. Wonderful. So, Malika, now the last word from you. We will hear from you now.
Sir, there is another student. She wants to share something.
Okay, sure. Definitely. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
Thank you from your nice sharing. After that, I just know that we must have communication, and we must communicate with human, good communication. And after your sharing, I understood that we must have non-violent communication with all the creature, and especially with nature. And we will be, after this, we will be kind with nature too. Thank you.
Thank you. In fact, that is so important for us to work on the issue of climate change and environmental degradation, that we need to respect nature, we need to respect all other living beings so that we can promote a harmonious coexistence. That should be the message that each one of us need to give out, so that we can actually genuinely contribute towards a holistic culture of peace and non-violence in our societies. Yes, please.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. We Herat children, Peacebuilders, really appreciate your nice sharing, your nice session. Especially we, not only the students, we too, Ms. Malika and I, we really learn many things. We try our best to put them in practice, in our daily life practice. And the students, they are requesting to just have you more with us. It means to help us.
No, definitely. We will look forward to more such sessions with your team. I'm sure we will be able to do something very concrete. So we will I think we can do once in a month. We can do, definitely.
Yeah, they are saying because it is the first time they are talking online. They are saying it is really interesting and useful for us. And whatever you shared, and also your partner he shared, thank you, and please accept our warm appreciations. As you told, it is one pillars of Gandhi's values. And thank you to Mahatma Gandhi, the leaders. We really appreciate. We love him, and he's a really sample for all the people in the world.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So now,
Yeah, doctor,
Malika, you have to promise that all your friends do this course.
Of course, seriously, I have done the course many times with you guys, and then I promoted the students, and I try to just share my videos and share. Ask you to join us to do this course with us. Thank you so much. We're really thankful of Gandhi Samriti and Darshan Samiti for supporting us and for joining us. And thank you so much. And the students and me and my partner Fatima, we really enjoyed today. And we hope that we do more with you guys. And thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Wonderful. Have a nice day. Have a nice lunch, all of you. Thank you very much. Hope that we will come to Herat someday.
We hope, and we always welcome you to come Herat. We're just waiting for you.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Wonderful.
See you guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
We're not stop here.
Okay, students, did you enjoy?